Could I have your attention, please? I'd like to call to order the special call meeting, Alleghany County Board of Supervisors. I'll call our board to order, and Mr. Tucker. This is a joint meeting with Alleghany County School Board and Sheriff Hall. Do you have any technicalities you got to take care of?
One thing to do is call our meeting to order, and we'll go to 18-227 on our agenda, which will be discussion regarding school safety and school resource officers. And for our board, at this point, this is information. So what I'll do now is turn it back over to Mr. Steve Bennett, Board of Supervisors.
I have to be honest, this is the first called meeting I've ever been part of since I've been chairman of the Board of Supervisors. I had John check into it a little bit to make sure we do this right. Just a couple things before we get started. For the record, Mr. Griffith was the first phone call I got on this. He was the one that requested the special call meeting. But I think it's fair to say it's being held tonight with the support of all the other board members too, because there was a lot of emails, a lot of transactions during the day. There are two pretty stiff rules on a special call meeting. One is that you cannot have any public comment. And the second item is that the only thing that we can discuss tonight is the two items that were referred to in the public notice of what the meeting is about tonight. One is the transfer, and the second one is about having staff work on a program into the future. So we'll have to limit our comments to those two, and it's pretty much the board's meeting. And I think it would be fair to say school board is here for information and support. John has done the lion's share of this. John, can you take your meeting?
Of course, John hasn't done necessarily the lion's share. It's been a team effort, and we called the meeting cooperatively with the sheriff's office and representatives from that officer here this evening. First thing I'd like to do just is recognize the work that the sheriff's office and school administration has done since the events happened last week, and then beginning with some emails, correspondence early yesterday morning, we started having conversations with school administration staff and with sheriff's office, Sheriff Hall, and his folks to try to put in place funding to provide the needed additional presence of sheriff's office staff in the schools. And working cooperatively with them, we came up with an estimate of $40,000 for the remainder of your fiscal year and to get you through the end of the school's calendar year. And so what I would ask for tonight is the board's authorization to transfer those dollars from your operating contingency. We have $250,000 currently available in operating contingency as part of your budget. Transfer $40,000 to the sheriff's school resource officer budget line item to allow them to continue through the end of the school year to provide that additional presence in our school facilities. And there is no need for the board to waive policy. This is on your agenda. The board can act on it tonight, and we would certainly recommend you taking that action now. And if you would do so, then we can move on to the second item on the agenda and very briefly talk about what we think is the best way to handle preparations for the future.
Before I ask for a motion, just out of courtesy, school system is okay with this?
Absolutely.
Sheriff Hall?
Absolutely. We met yesterday combined with John.
All right, good. I entertain a motion that we transfer $40,000 to the sheriff's office overtime budget for the school resource officer coverage for each elementary school.
Make a motion.
The motion was made by Mr. Shaw, second by Mr. Griffith. Any discussion? John, you will call a roll.
Mr. Shaw?
Yeah.
Mr. Darden?
Yes.
Mr. Griffith?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Nicely? Yes. Mr. Bennett?
Yes. That brings us to the second item on the agenda, and that's, John's going to cover that again.
So, we've talked, and there's been quite a bit of conversation the last several days what I would just advise, and I know the school board has already preliminarily put together a budget. We have some budget meetings scheduled with the school board beginning in late March. Those things were all scheduled prior to the recent events that have been occurring, is to say cooperatively with the sheriff's office, with the school board and our staff, because the majority, 80% of the SRO funding comes from your school budget. It may be local dollars that are provided to do so, but that we work together cooperatively, go back through your budget, through our budget, as we're preparing those, and put together a plan that provides for the additional presence of sheriff's office employees in our school facilities going forward for the next school year. Have that prepared and hopefully in place for your beginning of school in the fall of this coming year. And I'll be happy to answer any questions. There's a lot of moving targets and a lot of moving issues around trying to prepare for that are unknown right now. We don't have specifics, we don't have details, but we want to work together with all three parties to put something in place for the coming year. I'll be happy to answer questions, but at a very high level, that's where we are and what we're recommending to move forward from both our side of the interstate, the school board side of the interstate in that office, and with the sheriff's office for the next year.
I'm sure this is going to be an ongoing, it's going to be a moving target. It's going to evolve as it goes along. So there'll be plenty of time for lots of information later on once y'all get a little bit closer. But I'd like to thank everybody involved in it, Sheriff Hall, school system, and John from the county for the three. I mean, y'all have done a lot in very little bit of time. And job well done. And we'll continue that way too.
I would just say I appreciate the board's calling the meetings quickly, sheriff's office presence here tonight, and showing that we're working on this issue and this concern together. And moving forward, that'll be our intent. Our goal is to put something together that provides that necessary resource in the school facilities unfortunate that we have to have the conversation, but it's where we are as a society.
Mr. Bennett, if I just may add something?
Yes, go ahead.
Just want to appreciate the support from the Sheriff's Office and the Board of Supervisors to look at this and to do what we need to do to make sure that our students remain safe. And I appreciate all that. And it's been a great team effort, and that's important for our community. Thank you.
Mr. Bennett, I'd like to add something too, please.
Go ahead.
This just demonstrates to our community is how serious the Board of Supervisors is with your public education and the protection of your children. I know a lot of effort's going into it so far, and a lot more effort to go into it for a plan for the next year. But the Board of Supervisors has stepped up to the plate on many things for us in our school system. I just want to say thank you to them and Sheriff Hall also.
Sheriff, you got anything to add?
One thing I'll say, it's a great day in Alleghany County. You know, it's a great day it's a great opportunity for not only to secure our schools a little bit better than what we have, but also to educate our young people with police officers and getting to know them in a more personal way, and us be able to expand some of our programs that we can expand and maybe get some of the hate out of this country. Thank you.
Well, since we were directed to only discuss the two items that are on the agenda, we've pretty much covered those two. I think it would be appropriate, if you're okay with it, if we go ahead and adjourn. But before we adjourn, do you have to adjourn your school board first, since you're a guest here?
Yes, we'll adjourn our meeting.
Do you want to go ahead and
Do we have a motion to adjourn? We have a motion to adjourn, we adjourn.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. By Mr. Nicely, second by Mr. Griffith. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Thanks for coming.